Hello and welcome to another edition of Boatrek Live. Some breaking news today. Prodigy has been both renewed for Season 2 and we just found out there are 20 episodes in Season 1. And today I'm joined by my good friend Marcelo. Marcelo, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here, as always.
Alright. I'm going to try and read an article from TrekMovie.com and then we're going to discuss the article. Now, Fathery, our friend, broke the news to us first. He got his information from TrekCore, but, my go-to is Trek Movie, so I like reading. I like the way their articles are structured. It's not too much different from the way other Trek articles are structured, but it's just my go-to. It's my favorite site. I don't work for them. I just promote, TrekMovie.com. Go there, make it your, put it in your favorites. It's a wonderful website for Trek fans.
Yeah, TrekMovie.com is also my Trek information website of choice. I almost go there every day, so I go to Deadline first and then Trek Movie eventually. So they're just really great over there.
There's probably not a day where I don't go to Trek Movie. Even if it's there's nothing new, I'm just checking always. All right. So this article's from today. Star Trek Prodigy officially confirmed for second season beyond the first 20 episodes. The animated series Star Trek Prodigy debuted in October with the fourth episode coming on Thursday. Today, Paramount Plus announced some details on how the rest of season 1 will roll out, along with confirmation for the next season. Prodigy has only just begun. Today, Paramount Plus announced that Star Trek Prodigy has been picked up for a second season. According to Paramount Plus, the October 28th Prodigy debut had the top-performing premiere day out of any original animated kids series on the service. Paramount Plus, excuse me, yeah, it's live, see, that's what happens. Could have just edited that. We could have recorded it, and I could have edited that flub out. But we'll just keep going because I have my pride. I have my pride.
Yeah. It must not be subject.
I'm not a professional, people. Paramount Plus also clarified that the first season of the show will comprise a total of 20 episodes. Previously, it was assumed that Prodigy had been picked up for 2 10-episode seasons. So today's announcement for a second season means Paramount Plus has ordered more episodes beyond the first 20. There's also an update on how the first season will be split up. After Episode 5 streams on November 18th, 2021, the day of Star Trek Discovery's Season 4 debut, Prodigy will take a short break. It will return on January 6th, 2022, with new episodes streaming each week until the first half of Season 1 wraps up on February 3rd, 2022, just before Picard's Season 2 debuts. The 10-episode-long second half of Season 1 will be available on Paramount Plus at a later date in 2022 to be announced. Now, we're going to take a look at this schedule a bit go back to it in a second. But first, I want to get your thoughts. Are you excited for this news, Marcelo?
Yeah, I'm happy for those of us who really, really enjoy the show. For people like me who are still morbidly curious about the show and what ultimately is going to happen with it, I am happy that it will be sticking around for this foreseeable future. But the one thing that I was really drawn to this article as you were reading it is we postulated in other live streams that this is going to be the first Star Trek show in the modern era to run concurrently with another Star Trek show, and it shows that the people at CVS are conscious that they're going to have Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Prodigy on the air at the same time. So it's really interesting that they put that buffer after episode 5 of Prodigy, just to give Discovery a little bit more room to go into season 4.
Earl Grey Trickies here. Thanks for joining us. He says, honestly, Prodigy is edging towards being better than Lower Decks. This was great news for me. That's yet to be seen for me. I think it's a great show so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to go downhill. It seems like it's competently made. I mean, there's a lot of effort into like the minor details, and the characters seem like they could go interesting places. So it doesn't seem like there's any indication that Prodigy, as of now, is some kind of like false hope. I think, like I've said before in other live streams, I think you could do a movie because Nickelodeon is known for taking their popular animated series and making them into movies. Also, after episode 3, Starstruck, I thought, wow, this could be a great video game. So,
I am not sold on the idea at all that Star Trek Prodigy is better than Star Trek Lower Decks. That's to, I don't know if that will change in the future as I continue to watch the show. Maybe my opinion will change. But for me, the show is wonderful in its little quirks, but to me, it's just a little bit kiddish, which makes sense because it's a kid show. But I haven't found that thing that makes me excited to keep on coming back on a week-to-week basis yet.
well, you did bring up a good point about how we thought the shows would overlap, and yes, there is one episode overlapping. Like there's the episode 5 of Prodigy, and then there will be season 4, episode 1 of Discovery on the same day. Which, when has that ever happened? Two brand new different Trek shows airing on the same day. I don't think that's occurred. Actually, yes, it is not in this era. I mean, not in the Kurtzman era, but I'm sure it did back in the day, obviously, because shows were on at the same time. I don't know about the same day, though. I don't.
Yeah,
Maybe
but that's,
Father would know more about that than I would.
yeah, where is he when we need him, right?
Um,
I like I've never heard of two Star Trek properties premiering on the same day. So for me, that day is going to be interesting to say the least, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really fun.
no, okay. How come I can't get rid of this? There we go. This is a quick guide to the season 1 of Star Trek Prodigy release dates. So, the episode 5, which would be the quarter season break, or the quarter season finale, you could say. That's November 18th, the same day as the first season, or the first episode of season 4 of Discovery. Then you have the hiatus. Episode 6, the next 5 episodes start January 6th. Then the mid-season finale is February 3rd. So in that time, by that time, you would have Picard.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like how Prodigy's like filling in the gaps now. So we have steady Trek, but it's not the way we thought. Like it's just a total unexpected surprise.
Whoever.
And
no, I'm sorry.
But just the last part. I just want to get the last part. Episodes 11 to 20 are to be announced, and they'll be sometime in 2022, presumably the fall. I would say. Wouldn't that be something? It would be, but that would be a long break because you would have Strange New Worlds and then Lower Decks.
Mm-hmm.
Because February you have Picard.
Yeah.
Then you have Strange New Worlds, presumably. Then you presumably have Lower Decks.
What if they? I mean, I don't mean to bring down your excitement, but what if they did this instead of having Strange New Worlds right after Picard? What if they did this? What if they did Lower Decks, Prodigy, and then Strange New Worlds to really, really piss us off?
Well, I think the speculation now is that perhaps Strange New Worlds may come like April, May.
Right.
Because you have Picard running from February to March. So, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they're all in order now. Because Lower Decks was the same time in 2020 as it was this year.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, the one thing I wanted to say about the schedule is that whoever put this release schedule together is a genius. Like
I'm just gonna bring
it's
it up
just
again.
yeah, it's just like they're like a marketing genius, and like you said, they're basically filling in the holes. So it's a very very exciting time to be a Star Trek fan if you've been living under a rock and and you're just coming out of hibernation now. So yeah.
I'm very excited. Not much else we can say on the matter, I don't think. But just, let's remove this and let's get on to the next topic, which would be the 20 episodes. Now, we were expecting 10, but does this hint at a grander story? Like a much grander. I speculated, remember I don't know if you were there, we were talking about Prodigy and how I think the end game needs to be them meeting Janeway. Because we know now they're not that far away from the Alpha Quadrant, as we thought. They're not as far away as Voyager was at the beginning of Voyager. And everybody kind of assumed like, oh, Delta Quadrant, they're just so far away. It's how do you get these Alpha Quadrant aliens like Tellarites and stuff, and in the show, and it's like, well, maybe they're not that far away, and that's pretty much been confirmed. So now we know there's a possibility that the crew at some point could meet the real Janeway or the real Chakotay. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I was there when you postulated that theory, and I do think that uh, with the 20 episode, order for season one being confirmed, it is a very very strong possibility that we could be looking at a grander story arc for season one than we were initially anticipating with the initial 10 episodes that we thought we were going to get.
It's a strange thing. Like how I'm wondering how long do they know this? Because I
I
mean,
think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
there was a lot of assumption about the overlap. Like, well, we assume it's 10 episodes. I don't know if I'm unsure now about the official words on how many episodes they said there were going to be. Maybe it was 10. Maybe the 10 are produced, and they're like, actually, you know what? We can we'll just take what we were going to do in the 10 episodes in season 2 and just make it season 1 because it's still the same arc. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if there's 20 episodes in this, granted it's a half an hour show, so that's like 10 hours. That's equivalent excuse me. That's equivalent to Picard or something like that.
Mm.
Obviously shows like Discovery run a little bit longer than 10 hours.
Yep.
When it's all said and done, maybe like 12 or 13 hours. But for an animated show, this is pretty. I mean, it's not unheard of that they have a lot of episodes in animated content, but the level of quality that they must maintain visually, and at this point so far, storytelling, which is pretty decent. Like to maintain that for 20 episodes and have that air over the next year and a half or so, it's ambitious as hell, in my opinion. And I think they have a lot of confidence. And like I said, Nickelodeon they know their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, the other thing that we have to consider here is that it's an animated show, so it is so much easier, and I say this in air quotes because, I don't produce animation, so I don't know the ins and outs of how production on animation happens, but from the layman's point, it is so much easier to produce a season of animation than it is to do a live action science fiction show. So with that being said, CVS could have told them, listen, at the start we're going to give you 10 episodes, but if we like what we see after the 10 episodes, we're going to give you 10 more. So we're going to give you this bunch, but if it's good, maybe we'll give you more down the road. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
total sense.
I'm looking forward to seeing more about. I mean, it's I don't want to like be a negative kind of person, but I'm gonna go there just a little bit. I was a little bummed out when I heard that, like, oh, after next week, like we have 4 coming up, and then next week We have episode 5. Then we're gonna have a break, but the break isn't that long. It's not like Walking Dead long. Like the Walking Dead mid-season finale. You gotta wait. What is it like? 1, 2, 3, 4 months or something. But this is
Yep.
only like 2.5 months between something like that. But
We'll
yeah.
be fine.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I mean, I like I said, I when my favorite TV shows go on breaks, it gives me the opportunity to revisit the episodes that I've had already and maybe change my opinion on those episodes. So maybe I'll have, but by the time Prodigy comes back, maybe I'll have a more favorable opinion about the episodes that we get in the first half than I initially did the first time I watched them. So, with shows that have a built-in break, it gives me time to reflect from a personal standpoint.
Well, I think we've covered it. I mean, as soon as we're kind of like done with the article, 5 people show up, so that's cool. But no,
We tried.
I think I'm very positive about this show, and I wasn't. I'll be honest. I was looking at some of the clips and trailers and stuff, and I was like other people, like, oh, I don't want this to be too childish and too dumbed down. But then there was some interview with the Hagman brothers talking about how they wouldn't do that. Like they were like the article was literally reassuring me personally. No. That thing you think is going to happen because it's a kids show. No, it's going to be dark and complex, and it's not necessarily a kid show. It's not Paw Patrol. People have to understand that. It's like it's a bit older. It veers between 8 and 10. Seems to be like those kids who in just a few years will be too old for cartoons, but not really though, because none of us are really too old for cartoons. I've been watching Looney Tunes for all my life. But yeah. Hey, Jace.
How do
I've never seen this person before. This is somebody new.
Hey. Oh, did they mention me by name? Like they did, so they might know me. So
Yeah.
I have no idea who that gentleman is, but who that person is. But hey, no, I like I said, when Prodigy was initially announced, I was like, I don't care. But after watching the pilot, I got a little intrigued, and after seeing the episode after that, a little bit more intrigued, and I think pretty soon I'm coming up on that, fork in the road where I say, I'm going to keep watching or I'm going to step away and let the season complete and then watch it over again to where I can make my final judgment on the show just for myself. So I'm sort of like 50-50 on the boat and 50-50 in the water already. I don't mean to be negative or anything.
No, well, I mean, that's absolutely fine. I mean, I wish I had the patience to wait, to not watch it. Knowing now that there's going to be 20 episodes, that I want that even more, but goddamn, even if I'm not digging a current season of a Trek show, whatever show that may be, I'm still like, I gotta see it episode to episode. I've got to see what's next. I've got to see the next new thing. I've got to see the new Trek at the same time all the other people are seeing the new Trek. It's just a weird addiction, and I've tried to do that with Picard, and I want to do it with Prodigy, not necessarily because I'm not digging it. I just would love to binge it. I would love to wait. And remember when Lower Decks wasn't released internationally?
Yep.
When they got it in the one season chunk. So most of the people who didn't find some other way to watch it and actually wait it got to see it all at once. And I'm wondering now where the international rights to Prodigy, will the international folks aren't getting it, will they have to wait until the end of 2022 to see the first season? I mean, I hope they release it in increments, either on Netflix or Amazon, like they do with Picard or in Discovery. But
I think
I feel bad that it's Paramount Plus doesn't have that power to just put it everywhere like Disney does with their stuff. But anyway, go ahead.
But Paramount Plus, if I'm not mistaken, they have a giant rollout coming out in different territories. So I think they're going to attach, a large portion of the first season of Star Trek Prodigy to that international rollout. Now, I could be wrong. That rollout, the rollout that I could be thinking of, is the rollout that they're planning to do in front of Strange New Worlds. But if they're going to do that, I would suspect that the first season of Star Trek Prodigy will be dumped on Paramount Plus all at once, eventually for the international audience.
Yeah, I'm a bit sketchy on when they're rolling out their global thing, because the Paramount Plus, more than anything, wants to be like Netflix and Disney, where they have this broad global reach with their original content. And it's funny how at this point, like, Picard has to be on Amazon internationally and Lower Decks as well, I believe. Netflix carries Discovery. It would be so weird for me to put on Netflix and see Discovery on there. It would just be like a trip, because but in other countries it's a Netflix series. Yeah. Just like Orange is the New Black was a Netflix series, but technically Lionsgate produced it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Lionsgate didn't have a streaming service, but so there you go.
Mm-hmm. But the distribution for Orange is the New Black was, strictly down to Netflix, because, as you just said, Lionsgate didn't have a studio. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think eventually Paramount Plus has because it's a weird rights issue in Canada, because Bell Media obtains the rights or buys the rights to everything Trek related. So everything Trek exists on Crave except for the movies. And on Netflix in Canada, every Trek show is there except for anything modern. It's all the old Berman era stuff and TOS and the animated series. Mm-hmm. So it's like we've got all the Trek, but man, it's so hard to get movies on streaming in Canada, the Trek movies. So I'm waiting for the day when Paramount Plus is global, I guess, but I don't know. Will Bell Media still obtain the rights? I don't want Bell Media to have the rights. I mean, I like Crave and all, but the picture quality isn't the best. And if I had a Paramount Plus dedicated app that had all of the Trek stuff, I mean, that would sell so good in Canada. I mean, people would just switch over that right away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to let a fire, under you right now, but here in the U.S., we just got all of the Star Trek films on our Paramount Plus. We got them all from the original crew to the next gen movies to the my beloved Kelvin movies. We have them all now.
You've even got the Kelvin movies?
Yep. We got them all.
No, I don't care. I don't care about the Kelvin movies.
Come on, good sir.
Although, eventually I want to watch them all in like a binge, all 4K remastered. I've seen everything in HD.
We should do commentary for the Kelvin movies.
4K isn't like, the Holy Grail or anything. Like, whoa, it's 4K. But I mean, there is a level of detail. I'm watching Seinfeld now. Side note, in Dolby Vision.
Oh, right, cool. Now.
And people complain like it doesn't look right. It doesn't look. It looks like it was filmed. That's the thing that throws people off, because they see the film grain. Which, by the way, if you don't put the high contrast thing when you're watching old things with film grain, because the film grain is just like all over the place. There's a way you can watch old things like that that were filmed on 35mm film, then scanned in 4K, then compressed basically, and then you're seeing kind of 4K, but it's still clear as hell. I mean, Jesus, I'm looking at the picture and I'm seeing like details I never saw before, but there is that layer. But you just don't notice it after a while. People can't stand it because they're so used to digital. For example, Walking Dead changed in season 10 from 16 millimeter to digital because 16 millimeter became too hard to develop and they had to change the film canisters and stuff like this.
Whoa.
So when you're watching it, when it gets, you can see it's way clearer. That's because you don't have that thick 16 millimeter film grain. They use it for the effect of horror, right? Like it kind of makes it look old school. And The Walking Dead doesn't have that look anymore. So it looks like a different show even though it's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
and the way things are filmed certainly makes a difference. I don't
No,
know why.
I mean,
I don't know why I got onto that, but yeah.
No, I mean, for me personally, when I watch something on, on streaming, it looks one way, but if I'm lucky enough to get that on a physical media platform like Blu-ray, it just pops. Like, if you watch episodes from Star Trek Discovery season 3 on streaming, they Star Trek Discovery season 3 looks completely kind of flat. The picture quality and the colors just look flat, but on Blu-ray, those things come out.
Yeah.
Those things pop a little bit more.
Yeah, it's certainly true. I mean, it depends on your streaming service too. Like I find Netflix, Disney's okay. They're pretty good for like the clarity and stuff like that. But Ruben says only true way to watch anything is on .0004K VHS. There's an appeal to that. I watch some things on. I've watched some movies on YouTube that are like VHS TV copies of like Halloween 2, the TV version of that. I watched that on YouTube and like there's nothing in it. Like nothing happens in the movie because the movie's so violent they have to cut like literally everything out.
Everything, yeah.
And like scenes are different and takes are different and it's like weird. I don't know. You know how those TV edits often like somehow change the movie a little bit and you don't really know why.
Yeah. No,
Marcelo, I agree. Discovery looks good on Blu-ray. Yes.
Thanks. No, like, and the cool thing is if you were a kid of my era where you had VHS and there was no such thing as streaming services, and you buy a VHS of your favorite movie, Trading Places, and the first time that you watch it was the edited version on TNT, like. The second I got my hands on that VHS, I'm like, this is a whole new movie. This movie is so much better because they got things that weren't in the TV version for obvious reasons. So,
yeah, yeah, definitely. The 4K streaming quality is definitely improving, but like I don't mean to harp on like dissing the main Canadian streaming service, which is Crave, which has like a lot of content, and like I said before, it has stuff from Paramount Plus, it has stuff from HBO Max, it has stuff from HBO, Showtime, Stars, and like it has a lot of stuff. But god damn, if the quality isn't that great. And the funny thing is, there's an option to watch on air stuff on Crave. So you can watch like a show like Dexter New Blood that's airing at 10:30 my time. You can watch it live because sometimes it takes like 5 and 10 minutes for it to show up at that time it's supposed to. So you end up watching the live version of it. And it's funny how like you watch the live and it's like, wow, this is actually like really true crystal clear HD. And then you watch the streamed version of it, which is technically it says HD. It's like, no, it's not as good. You can see a little bit of pixelation in here. It's like, what? It's weird. I don't know what it is about that app. And they promise 4K. They say they have 4K. It does not exist there. I don't know what they're talking about. It's a weird thing. So like when streaming services the way they have to compete now is they really have to be just as good as Netflix, just as good as Disney Plus, or people are just like, nah. Amazon Prime, for example, is great for streaming quality. But some, I wish I had Paramount Plus. Please, Paramount Plus, come to Canada, buy back the rights from Bell and kick them out of here. And
just a small little note about Bell Media. Bell Media has all the rights to the CBS TV shows, other than Star Trek. So that's why Bell Media has the monopoly over most of CBS's content, and and that includes Showtime, because
Oh yeah.
Viacom CBS owns Showtime as well. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be interesting to make a Star Trek show on Showtime? They were thinking
That'd be
about putting
interesting.
Discovery on Showtime at one point
That would have been cool.
because it would have it was initially pitched as a mature rated show, like not for children. It would have the F word, it would have nudity, but they they gradually held back on
Dialed
that
it
more
back.
and more.
No,
They got to a point where in season 2, Tilly says "frickin" in front of Pike, and Saru's like, "Oh, you're cursing." It's like, she said "frickin" though. Did she really say the real F word and they changed it because they were self-conscious? Because they react to her as if she said "fucking," but she says "frickin" in the audio, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Wish I could ask Mary Wiseman.
no. I mean, look. If you're gonna go, if you want to say fuck on a Star Trek show, I think that you have to commit to it. And if you're gonna, yeah. So if you're gonna create a new Star Trek show, and and you say to yourself, my characters are gonna say vulgar language, you have to stick to it, and you cannot change the course just because a couple fans or just because a subset of the fan base doesn't like it or doesn't view the language that they're using as proper Star Trek language or whatever. I think that was a problem with Discovery because I think that the writers or the producers of Discovery tried something and the pushback from people like us was a little bit too much for them. Then again, I could completely be wrong.
They should really, if they want to do the cursing, go full Picard, I would say. Because Picard's like, F this and F that, and it's F this, and I F'd up, and I'm effing stupid, and I'm fucking, it's like, what? Why? It's like, there is, I noticed this in movies and TV shows, it's not only Picard. I'm not going to harp on Picard, but there's a thing that happens with the overuse of swearing in movies and TV shows where it seems very phony. It seems like it's like, I don't know what else to say. Like the writer's like, fuck this, fucking fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I need something punchy, but I can't think of anything. But there's some movies and TV shows that, for example, like The Wire. There's a whole scene. There's an entire scene. It's the only scene that exists in anything, where an entire scene is explained or gone through using the F word or variations on the F word. And it's two detectives investigating a crime scene in a kitchen where a bullet came through and hit a thing, and they're all looking and they're just saying, "Oh, fuck," and like their reactions tell the story. Like the dialogue is being said through that one word. That's a very clever use. But some things like Trailer Park Boys, for example, a show I loved before it stopped. Some of the vulgarity in that is like, come on, guys, it's like too much.
Yeah, no, if you're a writer,
Still a good show.
Yeah, if you're a writer and you want to have cursing in your scripts, you have to find a delicate balance, because if you go too far, it's going to come off as ingenuous. If you don't go far enough, it's going to sound why'd you put that in there? It made no sense. You have to find a balance to it, and that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to timestamp this for the Prodigy discussion and then a discussion on cursing in Star Trek. No, that's good.
You'll have fun doing that.
Yeah, it's not going to be hard. It's only we're only 35 minutes here, so
yeah, it's not going to be that bad.
Before we go, is anything else you have to say about the subject, or if there's anything you want to promote?
Yeah, two things. I really don't have anything more to say about Star Trek Prodigy, but I'm I'm optimistic about where the show is going to go. I lied. I did have one more thing to say about Star Trek Prodigy. But I just want to let you guys know that for those of you who are watching my Sherlock series review on my YouTube channel that releases every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the final episode of season 1 premieres this Sunday. So I thank anybody who is watching that series with my good friend Geek and Review. You guys have been wonderful, and thank you very much. But if you want to talk to me about Star Trek or anything else, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at QuickFanatic88.
All right. And, of course, you can find me on Twitter at Boatrek1. And until next time, folks, live long and prosper.
Bye, guys.